I'd like to welcome you to an overview of the projects that we supported in Peru this year. And before we go any further, it's important to note that each one of these projects are born in the communities we serve, and they're developed by our agents according to the needs they see in the communities, and they're designed to address the needs in ways that are specific to their communities. This is an important reminder for all of us, because my word for this year is community. It seems to be that whatever the ways in which our friends and partners tackle the needs they see, they always lead to the development of better communities, especially in the difficult times they have had dealing with COVID, as well as the usual issues of poverty and gender-based discrimination and violence, nutrition and education difficulties. They have made sure that every project they take on is founded in the community and fosters greater community growth. For example, the Rural Libraries Project in Cajamarca has always been a hands-on distribution of books to small libraries in remote mountain areas. With the advent of COVID, distribution and personal contact in these communities became almost impossible. The Rural Libraries Project pivoted from the reprinting of several books in their collection to developing a virtual library and improved dissemination of their content via a YouTube channel and Facebook page that allowed access to literacy without the need to deal with the difficult travel and COVID restrictions. This also allowed the library to be cataloged virtually and thus be available to many more readers. Also, in the area of Cajamarca, the Aziz Group has continued their work on education and community building, both in the rural areas of Pomabamba, as well as the Caritimayo neighborhood in the city. Working with small groups of children writing about their lives, they have been able to publish a collection of stories that can be shared virtually with other readers. They have also used these stories as material in an education course for teachers, which educates them on the vulnerability of children in these areas and will help to develop an alternative educational proposal where different factors come together, and in knowledge, family, nature, and community. And as well as continuing with their education project for the children, which is also supported by adolescent helpers. This group is helping the women in these areas develop new skills to create weavings and sculptures that can be sold to supplement their income. These creative sessions are also used to help the women talk about their lives and support each other emotionally. In this time, as we all know, psychological and emotional support is one of the main things that is needed. In the city of Chiclayo, where we have two partner agencies, a lot has been happening. You just heard from Trish about the very ambitious project to help families in the small community of San Isidro, which was devastated by the El Nino event even before COVID hit. The community had decided they wanted to raise chickens so they could sell eggs, and our partners helped them form an official organization with women from the families on the board and help them access some financial aid through Heartlinks, other NGOs, as well as the local government. They were able to deal with many issues that came up. Where should they grow feed? Should they go organic? Why were some of the chicks not thriving? How could they shift so some of the families didn't have to travel so far? What did they need to know? How could they get a power outlet for the incubators? And they did this as a group creatively by consulting everyone involved. Centro Esperanza helped organize 5 workshops on everything from confidence and self-esteem, which was requested as the first workshop by the women who wanted to make sure that their voices would be heard. and to practical costs of production and formulation of balanced feed, workshops on marketing of laying hens, with emphasis on market niches, strategic partners, and planning. A zootechnical engineer taught them how to manage feed by age and time. A table was drawn up with the amount of feed to be consumed by the hens at each stage of growth, and improving their pens in a technical way, especially in the implementation and height of feeders and drinkers, which some have been bought, others have been made from recycled material, which this community is great at doing. The ventilation and adequate space for the development of the hens and the feeding schedule was set up. The families are building pens to separate the hens according to growth stages. 15 families increased their production by an average of 95 chickens, 15 laying hens, and they sell organic eggs locally for consumption, and other families buy eggs to hatch in their pens to improve the breed. In an assembly, they agreed that this year they will donate 5 hens to each of 3 families to help other families in their community. So not only have they managed to organize themselves into a viable and productive enterprise, they are also giving back to their community. One of the markers of success that our partner also noted was that these families are getting their children involved, setting the stage for longer-term success. In another area of the city, Centro Santa Angela, our partner in Quinto sector of Oronaga, is involved in a massive project to energize street communities to become ecologically conscious and clean up their area. They have activated the children to be aware of ways to dispose of waste properly, as well as getting the adolescents organizing public events to educate people on their streets and in their street teams. They are reclaiming public space, planting community gardens, as well as teaching families to compost and then use the improved soil in their own gardens. Each street has a coordinator who is part of an overall team of 28 that develops activities through the area. The city officially recognizes the Ecological Committee of the Quinto Sector of Oronaga as a community environmental organization in the district of Jose Leonardo Ortiz. This ecological program trains the community in soil management, planting, composting, and garden maintenance. And the project also provides plants, fertilizer, seeds, and materials needed to fence the structure of the community garden. This has been well received by the whole community. Also, the Leadership School for Development continues its program of informing and developing citizen leaders who are confident in holding elected officials accountable for their leadership. Although COVID meant that in-person meetings were more difficult, a pivot to virtual meetings allowed them to expand their reach to several other communities in Peru, which was an affirmation that their process was of interest in many other areas. Because this was an election year in Peru, the leaders in the school were involved in evaluating the various participants in the election process, as well as supporting citizen engagement. They have really taken leadership to a new level and are being recognized as important evaluators of the transparency of the election process. In the villages of the Zanya Valley, one of our partners, Latidos, has been on the forefront of the health crisis by utilizing nursing students and volunteers to educate, check on families, vaccinate as many as possible through the pandemic. They have also been addressing issues of food insecurity for those who have lost jobs by bringing food grown in the gardens that they support to vulnerable families. As well, they have been involved with enhancing the education of children who have been out of school for long periods of time through literacy programs and small contests which encourage them to continue their learning. Another effect of these contests is that they have also helped the parents deal with the disruption to family dynamics and the demands of parenting in difficult times. The need for emotional support, psychological care have been addressed through workshops and continued check-ins. Our other partner in Zania is the Madre Oliva Association, who have been involved with community work in this area for many years, but just recently achieved their goal of becoming an official NGO and agency partner of Heartlinks. This group has been focused recently on the well-being of the women who participate in various crafting workshops on a regular basis. While learning different crafts from each other, they are also becoming a regular support group for each other in many areas of their lives. They have also been having workshops on self-esteem, and our partners say that the best indicator of the success of this program is that the women come out regularly. Another project that Madre Oliva has is the support and accompaniment of families in Nuevo Mocupe who are dealing with issues of learning disabilities. Many of the parents in this group experience disabilities themselves, and many are dealing with children with special needs. Our partners support them with food distribution, regular programs for the children, registration for health comprehensive insurance, accompaniment to health centers when necessary, education on healthy food for their families, and understanding the process of behavioral modification to help with learning and family dynamics. Also, psychology workshops on self-esteem and small products that enhance a sense of purpose and provide some income are important to this population. Madre Oliva is making sure that everyone in their community is supported and becomes a viable part of their local community. Heartlinks is proud to be a part of these initiatives throughout Northern Peru and is grateful for your support.